Hi, it's Mark the Do Something Guy here again. Today I'm going to show you how to build a portable fish finder and power box in one. This power station can charge multiple devices at once and run a fish finder all at the same time. It has two USB 3.0 ports and one 12-volt cigarette lighter port, and it's solar charging compatible. Let's get started. So the first thing you're going to need is your battery. For me, this is a 12-volt, 20-amp-hour lithium-ion battery. You can definitely get bigger, but I also want this to remain quite portable. The power bank part of this comes from an order that I made on Amazon. It's got two USB 3.0 ports here, a 12-volt like cigarette lighter there. It's also got a voltmeter and then a switch. I'm going to be mounting this. I'm going to measure up and draw a straight line across about where I want this to sit at. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure how far it is between the center of each of these posts by just measuring the first two, and that will give me the rest. This is about 1 3/4 inches, a touch over 1 3/4 inches. So you can see I've got the first mark here, I've got my next mark there, third, and then the fourth. Now I'm going to just take my bit and get it centered on the first one, and slow and easy. There I have it, 4 holes. I'm going to take my knife real quick and I'm going to clean these holes up, and then I'll be ready to install the outlet bank. So I've got all the holes cleaned up, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking the wires off of each plug so that I can slide each one in. These blade plugs are pretty tight on here, so I'm just using the back of my knife here and gently prying up on them. I think the last one, maybe I can snake the wires all through so I don't have to take the last one off. Those are all in. It's time to put the little locking nuts back on the back side in here. Then I've got to reconnect my wires here. The posts are labeled with positive and negative, so just a matter of reconnecting the red to the positive and the negative on the negative terminals. Alright, so the last thing I need to do is get this battery in. Turn on the switch here. This should light up as well as these if we've got everything right. So I'm out here in the garage now. I'm going to go ahead and get cracking on this. Next thing I need to do is actually mount my fish finder. My fish finder is this Garmin Striker 4. Get my new box, get the mount where I want it, make sure that it's going to clear the handle. Inside of this old box I've got this little piece of wood, and I put that in there so that my mount had something solid and stable. And I'm just taking and doing a little bit at a time on each one, trying to keep that more or less level until I get all of them tight. Now my monitor for my fish finder will slide on there nice. For the next step is I need to run the transducer and the power cables through. I'm going to run those cables right here through this square behind the monitor. You have to have 3 holes for that. I'm going to line it up the sides according to the hole. Next thing I need to do is my transducer cable. I want my transducer to come out of the far side, so I'm going to take my transducer cable and push it in on that far side, and then I'll bring it back up through the middle here, right there. Now I'm going to take and hook up the blade connectors for my fish finder here. Close this up down like that. Now I'm going to slide my fish finder monitor on, connect the leads. Red one goes to the power, the black one is for the transducer. Voila! Now, let's turn this on. There we go, there's the fish finder. I was having some issues with this actually providing power, and what I found is that in these coils here, When the manufacturer crimped these down, they had actually cut the wiring. I had to put new wiring on and a couple of new female spade connectors. Last thing I'm going to do is install these battery nuts so that I can charge this without having to open that. To do that, I'm going to just drill a couple of holes here in the lid just above the battery, and then I'm going to run these bolts through and hook up some wiring. This to the positive. I've got these ring terminals, and I'm going to use my ring terminals to connect this all together. Stick that through. I can get that crimped nice and tight. There's one end. Do the same thing on the other. I can take and hook up my battery terminal, starting with the positive. Tighten that all down. There we go. Last thing I have is I want to make sure I have my terminals marked appropriately. So I'm going to take and put a negative scratch mark next to the negative, and then I'm going to put a plus next to the positive. Let's see how it does on charging devices. I've got my phone charging, I've got my GoPro batteries charging, I've got a solar battery bank charging, and my fish finder all running at the same time. Certainly a lot cheaper than buying like a Jackery or a Goal Zero. Really excited about it. Can't wait to take it on my new trip to Canada, as well as a lot of other trips. I have a Stillhead camping trip that should be fantastic for providing power as well as a fish finder. So thanks for following along. I hope you found that one useful, and don't forget, go do something today. Bye.